Welcome back to the Retirement Planning MadeEasy.com show, a show for retirees and people that are within 10 to 15 years of retirement that are looking to get rid of the stress and the anxiety and make sure they're making the right moves with their investments, with minimizing taxes, with making sure they've saved enough for retirement. We talk about all of that. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about this thing I'm calling flying by the seat of your pants retirement planning. Something that we're all guilty of doing it in some realm of our life, if not in retirement planning, possibly somewhere else. And I'm really going to focus on this problem that we all have, a big challenge that we have in life, and that's called inertia. And that just simply means that things just kind of keep going the way they're going, unless something happens to change it. And to make something change, it takes effort, it takes something going out of the way up front to make that happen. That's why inertia reigns supreme a lot of times. And it's no different in retirement planning as well. It's just like that with anything. Maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe you need to work out more. Maybe you need to start doing certain things that you're not doing now, but doggone it, it's just so much easier just to kind of keep doing the same old thing. All right. Because life gets in the way and we're all like that. That's inertia at work. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some ways to overcome that today. So let's think of some examples. When was the last time that you thought you wanted to learn a new instrument, but you hadn't picked it up in forever? When was the last time you picked up that instrument that you wanted to learn? Or when was the last time you went out of your way to review the subscription bills that hit your credit card every month just to take a look and see, am I still using all of these subscription services, especially with streaming services nowadays, and especially with things like gym memberships, or even something like, do you have a storage unit that you're storing a bunch of your stuff in, and you know you don't need the stuff? Maybe it's not important. Maybe it is. I'm not here to judge. And you've just keep letting that bill hit every month because it's just easier to do it that way. Or when is the last time you've tried out some of those new recipes you've been printing and seeing on Facebook and then storing in a 3-ring binder? Or shopped interest rates on your cash accounts? Do you remember that a cash account, that savings account with the online bank that you got? They told you they'd give you $500 if you kept a certain amount of money with them for 3 months. And here we are 10 years later, and they hadn't been paying you 1/10%, whereas interest rates are much higher than that now. Well, inertia is just kind of keeping that money there, isn't it? Or when's the last time you looked at your watch later videos on YouTube when you're scrolling through and you're like, I need to watch that sometime. And you just add it to the watch later. Or got new car and home insurance quotes, right? We just kind of keep going with these things, don't we? Um, let's think about more related to retirement planning, though. When was the last time you looked at your 401k's holdings? What investments are they invested in? Are they the same as they were when you were 22 years old and you first got that job and you set up your allocation that your paycheck would go into? Have you looked at those lately? Have you written down what your monthly spending is right now so you'll have an idea of what am I going to need in retirement? Well, what about, have you considered if your yearly savings contributions that you're making right now, have you looked into and redone the numbers to see, are these enough to reach my number? You know your number, that number you're saying, I need to reach that much and then I'll be comfortable retiring. Have you looked into that lately? Well, that's kind of just what how life is. We let inertia take over, and then something lights a fire under our pants. It could be we reach age 45 or 50 or 55, and we start to look around and we see that we have peers that are retiring. Some of our friends and coworkers. We take a look and we see what our 401k balance is, and it worries us. Something lights a fire. Maybe we need to do something. Maybe we need to do some catch-up contributions, things like that. Or maybe that's something that motivates you is looking in the mirror and the person that you see is definitely older than what you are, and that could motivate you. Or maybe you attend one more of your coworkers' retirement parties and something just clicks at that time. and you realize this is getting a lot closer for me than it was when I was in my 20s, my 30s, or my early 40s. Whatever it is, you get motivated, and that's good to get motivated. But the thing that I want to talk about today is that motivation without the right information will lead you in the wrong direction. So it does no good to get motivated if you're doing things that are not taking you to the right place. If you got, for instance, silly example, but let's say you got motivated to get in shape and have a better diet, but you didn't ever do any research to know what a better diet actually was, and you thought just eating birthday cake was a better diet, and you did that. That's going to take you in a very bad direction, no matter how motivated you are. Silly example, but it serves the illustration. So we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do to not be doing a fly by the seat of your pants retirement plan, but actually start moving in the right direction. But before we do that, if you haven't already, be sure to head over to our site, retirementplanningmadeeasy.com, where you can download and have instant access to watch a webinar that I put on recently called Reaching Retirement and Thriving Beyond: How a Customized Financial Strategy Helps You Overcome the 3 Main Threats That You'll Face in Retirement. You can head over there, put in your name and email, and I'll immediately send you the link to that masterclass webinar, and you can watch that. You're going to get some good stuff out of that to help you out with your retirement as well. All right, let's get back to the 5 things that you can do to take those steps in the right direction for your retirement plan. First one, so important, check out what your monthly spending is. Find out how much money actually goes out every month from your budget to cover just your regular spending needs and your regular lifestyle. That's the first thing. Super important step to take, because that's going to help you determine what am I going to need in retirement when I retire? Am I going to, you're probably going to be spending something that's very close to that amount. Might be a little bit less. It might be the same. Might be a little bit more too if for your first years in retirement, if you're doing a lot of bucket list stuff, traveling and all that. But you need to start off in the right direction. Just tally up what your monthly spending is on average. You can do this over the next 3 months, or you can look back at your bank statements for the last 3 months or 6 months and find that out. Super important. That's step number 1. Step number 2, get your latest Social Security statement. So you're probably not drawing Social Security yet if you're not retired, if you're still working. So still go ahead and get your statement from Social Security. Go to their website, open your account up if you don't have one there already, and log in and look and see what they're projecting your Social Security benefit will be based on which age you retire. And they make it real handy where you can look from age 62 all the way up to 70, and it'll give you a projection of what they are projecting your benefit will be. That'd be the next step. Now, the next thing you want to do is take the difference between your monthly spending and that Social Security statement benefit for the age that you want to retire. So if your monthly spending is $5,000 a month and your Social Security benefit is $2,000, then you're going to have a gap, a difference of $3,000 that you're going to have to come up with if that's what you want to keep spending when you retire. And Social Security will go up with inflation because it's got a cost of living adjustment. But that $3,000 that you're going to have to fill in the gap, that's going to go up, and you're going to have to find ways from your savings or from something to generate that income. And so you're going to have an idea that if I have to spend $3,000 a month and I'm pulling it from my savings, that's about $36,000 a year, just doing some simple math there. So that's the third thing. Figure up the difference between what Social Security is not going to cover, and then you're going to keep in mind that that's going to go up with inflation as well. Then you can do a reverse 4% rule estimate. So if you're familiar with the 4% rule, it says that it's just a rule of thumb too, by the way. If you just have $1 million, it says if it's invested properly, you should be safe if you pull out 4%. Now that you may can do more than that, but I'm just doing a good quick and dirty calculation here. So if you had $1 million, it's saying you'd be safe starting out pulling 4%, 40,000 out of that, and adjusting that every year for inflation. So what that means, if you see that you need to pull 40,000 from your savings every year, and you do a reverse 4%, you divide 4% into 40,000, then that lets you know you need to be targeting $1 million as your nest egg. That would be like an estimate of your number, is what that would be, an estimate of. Now that's going to help you to know, am I on track to reach that number or not? And if not, you might have to make some changes in your plans. And number five, once you kind of have an idea of what number you are targeting, you need to invest correctly to reach that number. If you have to have a lot of growth in addition to the contributions that you're making because you need a much higher number than where you're at right now, investing in bank CDs that have low rates of returns probably not going to get you there. And if you're investing that way, if you don't know what number you're trying to strive for, or have an idea of at least what spending amounts that you need to be striving to cover, then you're not going to really have as much guidance to know, how should I actually invest this money? Okay, so once you kind of have a general ballpark idea of this, then that can help you in guiding you on, should I invest more aggressively? Should I be more conservative? What should I be doing at this point? And to get to that point to help invest correctly, that's going to involve, looking at the type of holdings that you have. How have they performed historically? Because how they have performed historically is gonna be a good indicator of how they may perform going forward into the future, as far as average returns and standard deviations and volatility and consistency of returns goes, things like that. And that's going to help you understand, is that enough growth to get me where I want to go? Is that what's going to do it for me? That's going to involve, maybe I need to be making more contributions into my accounts. Am I going to reach those targets with the level of contributions I'm making right now? So these are all things to be thinking about and to be looking at when you are, you know, going from a flying by your seat of your pants retirement plan, moving towards something that's getting a little more specific, right? Just a little bit more specific to help you know if you're on track. So that's just five simple things that you can do today to help you out with that. The bottom line is that motivation is not enough. You have to have the right information, or you're going to go into the wrong direction. And when it comes to um, figuring out these facts about what your number is, how you need to invest properly, you need to make sure that you're doing your research on your investments, that they're meeting your needs, that they're going to meet the goal that you're going for, and that your contributions that you're making are sufficient to get you to that goal. And another fact is that it is totally normal to need help with this. There's a lot of moving parts here. And so it's totally normal to ask for guidance and to seek help on this. I would personally seek help if I had to write a will or have somebody draft up a trust for me. I don't know how to do that. I would seek out help for people that do this all the time. And it's totally normal for you to need help with something like this for people like retirement planning advisors that help out with this all the time. So hope that one helps out with you there. That's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed that, and be sure to head on over to my site, retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. You can instantly get access to watch our masterclass webinar on reaching retirement and thriving beyond, how a customized financial strategy helps you overcome the three main threats that you will face in retirement. Just head on over there, check that out. Hope you enjoy that. I know you're going to get a lot out of that. I'll see you guys on the next video.